Alright guys, it's Noodles1994 here, and this is going to be my first discussion video. And this is going to be discussing what is coming out. The Mage Spectres are coming out relatively soon. The sneak peek was last week, so the pack should be out this week. And the Perform Agent Pals, which are coming out in December. So let's talk about some tech cards that we can use, and we also have Monarchs in January. So a lot of people are saying the Perform Agent Pals with the Solemn Notice searching and whatnot is going to be tier 0. So if you're not going to be playing that deck, or you're not going to be playing Monarchs, or you're not going to be playing Mage Spectres, here's ways to counter them or help you out. Mask of Restrict says your opponent can't tribute. All the Mage Spectre cards require you to tribute. So if you activate Mask of Restrict, monsters can't be tributed, so you shut down the Mage Spectre's spells and traps. So that completely locks them out from their normal out, which is tributing their monster, putting in the Pendulum Zone, putting it from the field to the extra deck, so it will be Pendulum backed out. So that will completely shut down them. As for Monarchs, it will also shut down Monarchs. So it is a continuous trap card, so it is viable to MSTs and whatnot. Fog King. You can tribute one monster or no monsters to normal summon this card, but not set. The attack becomes the combined original attack of the tributed monsters. Cards cannot be tributed. So that goes the whole thing with the Mask of Restrict, but in monster form. So it also shuts down Mage Spectres and Monarchs. Zombie World, I wouldn't really go with Zombie World because it doesn't shut down Mage Spectres. It only shuts down the Monarchs, because the Monarchs, it doesn't even stop them completely if they're running Erebus, because Erebus is a zombie. It stops Aether. So Zombie World's not all that good, but I thought I'd mention it just in case Mage Spectres just in case for some Monarchs, because it is something that could be useful. But Mask of Restrict and Fog King would be way better. So let's get on to the Performer Pals and Perform Mages. Mistake, of course, because they search a lot. Neither player can add cards from their deck except by drawing them. That is, of course, if you're running something that can't search or doesn't search. So if you're playing Mage Spectres, or if you're playing Performer Pals and Perform Mages and Pals, you couldn't really optimize it. You couldn't really use it. However, you could use Mistaken Arrest, which only lasts for the turn. You can't add cards from the deck except by drawing them. Or you could use Shared Ride. Every time they search, you draw a card, which I would be since I am going to be playing Mage Spectres, I'm probably actually going to side deck this. So every time they search, I'll draw a card. Now on to a whole bunch of special summons, since the Perform Agent Pals, Pendulum decks, and whatnot. Great Horn of Heaven, or Grand Horn of Heaven. A lot of people probably already know about this. If your opponent would special summon during their main phase, negate it, which makes it go to the grave no matter what, even if it is a pendulum, and your opponent draws a card, but they end their main phase, so they either have to go to the battle phase or they go to main phase 2. If you're playing spellcasters, you can run Secret Village of the Spellcasters, which states if you control a spellcaster and your opponent doesn't, they can't play spell cards. Mage Spectres are all spellcasters, there are a few spellcaster performer pals. So, anti-spell fragrance. Anti-spell fragrance shuts down pendulum decks. Just because you cannot set a pendulum in the pendulum zone. You just can't do it. So if you open this up against a pendulum deck, they're going to have to MST it or get rid of it some way. Another one that shuts down some pendulum decks is Vector Pendulum, the Draco Lord. Negate all effects in your opponent's pendulum zone. Your opponent can still pendulum out, but it negates their effects. So they won't be able to do some crazy shenanigans like anything that the Perform Pals do. Twin Twister, I actually see this being played a lot since everything searches. It's just discard one, target up to 2 spell and traps on the field, destroy them. So you activate Twin Twister whenever they go for a pendulum summon, and you destroy either both their scales or one of their scales in a back row. And you might even be able to pop itself, but I don't know why you would, because it says up to 2. But I would definitely pop like either one of their scales or both of their scales, depending on what they have, because they technically would have already pendulum summoned that turn, and you negated it, I believe is how it's being ruled. So if you interrupt them pendulum summoning, if you interrupt the pendulum summoning by destroying one of them, they can't redo a pendulum summon. So if you Twin Twister or MST on the pendulum summon declaration, I believe they should not be able to pendulum summon again, because they already tried and it's a once per turn. But these are just a few cards to stop what is coming up in the meta. I definitely see a lot of these being side cards, especially the Mask of Restrict in January, for the Monarchs alone. I don't know if people are going to play it against the Mage Spectres, but if you do, it completely shuts them down. I do like Twin Twister. If you're playing Spellcasters, Secret Village, just to lock your opponent out of spells, because pendulums are counted as spells. Same thing with Anti-Spell Fragrance. So, Anti-Spell Fragrance and Draco and Vector, all these are pretty good cards to side in. If you're running anti-meta, you could main some of them, like Anti-Spell Fragrance and a Mistake, depending on if you search. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be maining the Grand Horn of Heaven coming into the next format, and we might be seeing a lot of people main Twin Twister. I'm probably going to swap MSTs for Twin Twisters just because they sound better, because you discard one but destroy 2. So, in all honesty, that's like activating 2 MSTs, but for the price of 1. Till next time, guys. Peace.